Sometimes we forget why we're here. It's easy to fall off track. These help us remember.
These battle scars don't look like they're faded, don't look like they're ever gone away. They ain't never gonna change. These battles.
Growing up, I had a dream, something no one else could see. Tell me what it means when your faith is falling beneath your knees and you can't breathe. Everything you see reminds you of what you're not or something you won't be. You gotta take what you're given, that's how we live it. Don't be mad at the system, it's simply how we've existed. I hear a lot of people talking like they politicians and choose to be an accountant because it's safe in a business. Not because they wanna do it, just because they heard it pays. And who the fuck wants to be poor knowing that's how we've been raised? Society is getting heavy, I can feel the weight. The pressure of success is like 100 million pounds of shame. And that's the reason I'm staying up late, trying to find a way to escape the stereotypes. This day and age is making me feel like the only way I'll be happy is getting signed to a label and making money through rapping. I wanna share my emotion because this world is attacking the very principle of life that lets the people be happy. If you don't have a reason to breathe, why even live? These battle scars are impressions of everything that it is.
Don't look like they're faded, don't look like they're ever gone away. They ain't never gonna change. These battle scars don't look like they're faded, don't look like they're ever gone away. They ain't never gonna change. These battles.
Now, if I had a voice that reached 100 million people, I'd tell them there's a reason that we're all created equal. Cause some decide to be great and some decide a sequel to an average person's life is simply what they want to be. So you make your decision, all I know is what I'm given. Won't define the life I lead or the way I dwell in existence. I've seen a greater image on the walls of where I'm living, and the words twisted and scripted remind me of something written. Faith is a gift that is given down to the people. If one believes it, one receives it. It's given if it is needed. Don't ever think you're trapped in a life that you never wanted. Your options are infinite, that's some mathematical logic. I'm not saying I'm a prophet, I'm speaking for what it's worth. These lyrics define my prayers and these battle scars on my church. Not saying I'm a prophet, I'm speaking for what it's worth. These lyrics define my prayers, these battle scars on my church.
Scars don't look like they're faded, don't look like they're ever gone away. They ain't never gonna change. These battle scars don't look like they're faded, don't look like they're ever gone away. They ain't never gonna change.
Well, hello everyone. I hope you're doing well. We're going to try again to do the LP History Show. I tried to do the other day and had the wrong issue with me. So I think I have the right issue right now. That's centered much better. So hopefully we can get through some of it, but before we get started, I have to do the YouTuber stuff. First of all, I could truly use your help on Patreon. As I said, it's been a dry and dusty land for YouTubers probably the past year. That's, it's a luxury item to support a YouTube channel. Hello, JJ. But if you happen to be blessed in that way, I would truly appreciate your support at patreon.com/Pink Flame of Liberty. What's next to my little YouTube bag of tricks here? Yes, you can follow me on all my social medias. Karen Ann Harlow's pretty much everywhere. And lastly, please like the channel and more importantly, subscribe. That does help boost my metrics. Oh, the speakers vote ended at 50. So is that a win or do they require a majority? Sorry, JJ just caught me by surprise. Anyway, so let me just finish my YouTube stuff and we'll talk about the speakers vote. Yes, please do subscribe to the channel. It really does help. I've gotten, a decent amount of subscriptions lately for a small channel. I think that Matt Walsh video had proven to be pretty popular, depending on how you define popular. I mean, a lot of the Theocons came over to disagree with me, but hey, I'll take the metrics. I'll take it as it comes, So anyway, we're going to move on to LP News. I am still quite cranky pants. I threw my back out yesterday at the Douglas County meeting. I don't do well on hard benches with no back. And we had a speaker, and I didn't want to be rude by moving like way over to the other side of the room on the couch. So I'm sitting there, and we're on like this park bench, and I'm like, by the end of it, I just wasn't, and it's still not better. So I get a little bit cranky. And hello, Trendlin, but otherwise, let's get going. Let's get started. And again, I love the old-timey logo, which is on the thumbnail. That's the word I'm looking for. It is on the thumbnail for this YouTube video. So we are starting with a brand new year, brand new series of LP News. This is February 1975, issue number 24. And I always like to examine the front to see if there's anything new, and on the back to see if the mailing address have changed, if the party has moved. No, it had been in San Francisco. It's still in San Francisco because that's where the chair at the time, Ed Crane, resided. He moved the headquarters to there. And they're actually, on the front cover of this, is some pictures of that office. So we are going to pull up the front cover here. So this is what the issue looks like. And those two pictures on the front are the San Francisco office. So the caption on that first photo says the National LP has hired Ned Hutchinson as National Director, so that'd be equivalent to the Executive Director today, working out of the San Francisco office. Hutchinson's professional experience in politics will aid LP organizing efforts. And then down that other photo says meeting the press. LP spokesman met with the San Francisco press to discuss the political bankruptcy of the Republican Party and the appointment of Ned Hutchinson. And then it says some other people that are in the photo. But check out, if you can see in the background, I want to see if I can make this larger for a moment just so you could see this badass poster. Putting this up here. Look at this poster here. You can't see it very well there. I could see it better at my hand. So it says Party of Principle, and it's got the Liber sign there. Man, I'd love to have some of these old. Now, is that actually a poster, or is that being projected? And look at what else at this picture. This is so interesting. There's a secretary or a stenographer there. You see her writing down in her little notebook. And look at that big ass tape recorder on the table. You know, one of those big cassette tape recorders. See if I can spot anything else in this photo. I'm surprised they're not smoking. Anyway, very, very interesting. So, I'll try to put this down back where it was. Just wanted to blow that picture up so y'all could see it. I thought that was pretty fantastic. Look, the big Bunchy. Bunchy, stop freaking out. Settle down, Bunchy. I know. I know. But, you know, just settle down.
Unauthorized recording.
I need to get that clip downloaded. The yes, Ms. Harlos. I definitely need to get that downloaded. But so today we're just gonna, as we've been doing with LP News, we're gonna cover a couple columns and call it a night. And we'll be going over this entire issue with a fine-tooth comb over the next 2 months. For January, February 2023, we'll be going over January, February 75. So first, since we were looking at his picture and we were talking about him, let's do that column up at the top. LP hires director to spur organizing. I think he might be the first executive director. I don't think they had one before him. So it says, in a move that is expected to greatly increase the effectiveness of Libertarian Party organizational activities, the National Executive Committee, again, that's what the LNC used to be called, and I'm really curious as to when that name changed, And I'm wondering if it wasn't changed, if it was changed when we were incorporated, which that is a recent thing. I think it was called the LNC before then. Anyway, I always found that interesting. One reason I find it interesting is because maybe it's just me, but I'm used to like the executive committee being like a committee within or a board within a larger board. Like we have an executive committee right now on the LNC, and it's 5 members out of the 17 members of the LNC. Yeah, you're right. It's not in the guy's head. JJ said that can't be a projection because it would be reflecting on his head. And true that. So it's weird for me to call the full body an executive committee, but I see some state parties do that too. It's just not terminology that I'm used to. And JJ, I've got to send you. You've probably seen me posting about this. So I was looking at the Douglas County bylaws, which I wrote in 2016, which seems like forever when I didn't know shit. And I must have copied these from somewhere else because I didn't know anything to write bylaws back then. And the cringiest bylaws provision is in there. And I hope I copied this because if I came up with this on my own, you want to know what it says? It says that abstentions won't count in determining a majority vote. Oh, that is so cringe. Oh my God. That is so bad. If I ever make a collection like that one video presenter of just bad bylaws provisions that we've seen, my own from 2016 is going to make the top of the list. Oh, that's bad. That's super embarrassing. All right, let's continue. Ed Crane, national chairman, made the announcement at a news conference, and it looks like they actually had news people there, on January 30th. Hutchinson, 44, will head a full-time paid staff at the national headquarters and will be responsible for coordinating party recruiting, publicity, and organizational efforts. I think this is exactly the development this party needs to ensure that our growth will continue to accelerate, said Crane. Ned Hutchinson is an extremely talented individual. We are most fortunate to have obtained his services. Hutchinson, and I have a copy of our Articles of Incorporation, by the way, Dave, and I think it was in 91. Hutchinson has been active in Republican politics for most of his adult life and has been a top aide to former Governor Ronald Reagan for the past 8 years. I've always been a libertarian, said Hutchinson, and I'm delighted to now be working with an organization whose views I am in whose views I am in total agreement. Yeah, JJ, oh my is right. When I saw that, because I hadn't read those bylaws in years, I was like, oh, kill it with fire. Ugh. It hasn't been too rewarding trying to change the Republican Party from within. With Hutchinson at the press conference was another ex-Republican from the Reagan administration, Sam Husbands. He also announced he was bolting the GOP to join the Libertarian Party, saying that his support of the LP lies in the fact that it is essentially a non-political party. Yep, we're the anti-political party. Husbands is presently the chairman of the Board of Trustees of the Foundation for Economic Education, which a lot of you will be aware of, abbreviated as FEE, which is still around. Financing for Hutchinson and his clerical staff will comes from the National Headquarters Fund. I think it means will come. Maybe you should have hired a copy editor. Just joking. Not joking, but just joking. rather than the general party revenues. Those wishing to assist with this project should send their contributions to the national headquarters with specific instructions as to the purpose of the donation. Hutchinson's appointment surprised the media in California, as well as other top Republicans who felt that a major position in the GOP would have been available. And it says, continued on page 5. Let's go to page 5. You know I hate that flippity flop. Would have been available to him. That's how I figured it would end. Says Hutchinson, I find the Republican Party without principle. You too? Me too. Hashtag me too. And sustained only by a quest for more power over individuals. The electorate has left the GOP, and so have I. I am proud to become the first national director, so he was the first national director of the Libertarian Party, and look forward to working with other libertarians around the country and making the LP a major political movement. Hutchinson will work out of the party's San Francisco office with Crane and be responsible to the executive committee. His most immediate priority will be to aid state LPs in gaining ballot access for 1976. He will be working with Eric Garris on this project. Dave Davis says the AOI is on LPDA. Is it 1991? Am I correct in that remembrance that I seem to have somewhere in the Cobby resources of this pink head? I think it was 91. Other projects that Hutchinson will be shortly involved with include the New Orleans Economic Conference coming up, and we talked about that this March. The suit challenging the Federal Campaign Financing Act, in which the LP is a co-plaintiff, and the establishment of a national fundraising campaign. Hutchinson is optimistic about the future of the party. By sticking to the principles of individual liberty and not playing consensus politics, we will continue to attract intelligent people from both the left and the right. Interesting that he spoke out against consensus politics, which is what they're trying to do right now, apparently, in the whole speaker debate. I'm here for it, man. Like, I'm not obviously a fan of the Republican Party or the gears in the Republican machine. However, when a Republican does something I like, I'll say it. I mean, that's only fair. And I am happy right now with Lauren Boebert, the way she is fighting against Kevin McCarthy. It's not easy to stand alone against most of the people in your circle of peers of your own party. I've been there on a much, much smaller scale, and it was difficult. I can't imagine the tremendous pressure she's been under. Now, I don't know if she caved tonight on this last vote, but the speech she gave yesterday, I thought was really, really good. And so, for once, a Republican from Colorado, let's just put it this way. I'm not going to say I like particularly any Republican politician, but that's not local. Like, we've got some local Republicans. Like, one spoke at our Douglas County meeting that we love him. But and on the national stage, I'm not going to go so far as to say I like him. But she didn't make me cringe with that speech. And that's high praise from me coming to a Republican. So, on the cover again, April 12th, taxation protest planned. Demonstrations to publicize taxpayers' revolt. Uh-oh, is it an insurrection? Worst insurrection ever. Warminster, Pennsylvania. The third annual National Tax Protest Day will be held on April 12th. It was announced by David K. Walker, director of the Society for Individual Liberty. For the third consecutive year, the event will be co-sponsored by the National Libertarian Party. Last year's NTPD resulted in wide media coverage for the LP, and it is expected that the 1975 protest will be even more successful. Support for the tax resistance movement has been growing steadily in recent years, and the NTPD has brought libertarian organizations to its forefront. The annual event features dozens of demonstrations around the country at which literature is passed out and speeches are given, protesting the coercive nature of taxation. Taxes in one form or another now account for nearly one half of the average American's income, a phenomena that has brought increasing support to the NTDP from various left and right-wing organizations. The Vietnam protests started out small, explained Walter, and then gained momentum through coalition. Libertarians have to start doing the same thing if our educational efforts are to be noticed. SIL is considered by many to be the leading educational organization in the libertarian movement. Ed Crane, National LP chairman, said in a press release that the Libertarian Party is pleased to be co-sponsoring this annual event, which gives voice to those millions of Americans who recognize their right to dispose of their earnings as they see fit without government interference. State and local LP organizations wishing to participate in the 1975 NTPD should write, and it gives an address, and you can get a taxation as theft bumper sticker for 25 cents each. I laugh when people at the 2016 convention, mostly I think newer party members who are freaking out because we resolved that taxation is theft, acting like that's some kind of modern internet day meme. No, that's been a slogan that the party has embraced since day one. Maybe the first you heard of it was on some edgy libertarian meme. But no, we did the 1970s version of edgy libertarian memes, and those were called bumper stickers. So 95. I thought it was 91 for some reason. Walter and Crane urged all libertarians to begin writing letters to the editor explaining why taxation should be eliminated. Oh, go! That's been our position since day one. Take that. God, I hate when people argue with me about that because it is just so ignorant. And it's almost like always. And I was a new libertarian too at one point. I'm not shaming new libertarians. But sometimes when you're new to something, you need to learn to zip it till you learn a little more and not speak authoritatively about things you're absolutely ignorant of. Whether or not you agree that we should... that all taxes should be eliminated is irrelevant to the historical fact that that's been the party's position. Always has been the party's position. And you see it right here again. I've mentioned it multiple times. The very first press release ever put out by the party that I've been able to find, which was right after the 72 convention. In fact, or was it 74 convention? It was one of those two. In fact, the minutes of the convention are written on the back of these press releases. I don't know whether the secretary just didn't have paper. Waste not, want not. They had extra copies of these press releases. I don't know. But fun fact, yeah, it's a 74 convention because we don't have minutes from the 72 one. At least I don't think so. Let's go to LPedia now. So that's all we're going to be reading out of LP News. So let's go back to this screen. Let's see if we can figure out when this taxation is theft press release came out. But man, it irritates me when people just like, no. And it's like, ignorant. But ignorance is curable. But let's look up 1972... National Convention. I don't think we have minutes for that one. I know there's some other minutes that were taken. Maybe we do have minutes for that were taken on the backs of, on the fronts actually of manila folders too. We were really classy in the 70s. So let me see. Now we have audio recordings. I don't think we have minutes from the 72 convention. Because if I remember correctly, what the LP used to do, because it's not even minutes. When I say minutes, I mean notes. They did what Robert said you can't do, but they did. They used to say, oh, the audio recordings will serve as the minutes. Yeah, that's not how it works. That's not how any of this works. But that's what they did. Let's see. So no, we didn't have notes from the 72 convention, but we did have notes. Yeah, check this out. I'm going to show you this. This is fantastic. Check out these handwritten minutes. And what's it say? Records of formal actions only. Well, that's what minutes mean. Oh my God, we were super cool in the 70s, but we were also cringe in some ways. So let me show you these minutes. These are fantastic. So, minutes of the 1974 Libertarian Party regular convention. I like that they noted it was a regular convention, record of formal actions only. No, they used Roberts at the 72 convention. Our original bylaws said we were going to use Roberts. And in the audio recording, you can hear them referring to certain rules from Roberts. So here is, but you can see here on the back, you could see it bleeding through. It says Libertarian Information Services. This is the press release. They wrote these minutes on the back of extra copies of that press release, which you can see bleeding through there. And you can see it right there too. You see it coming through? But yeah, check out these handwritten minutes. This is wild. I don't know if I put a copy of the press release in here, but I know I have it on the press release page. No. End of tape transcript. So they did these from the tape transcripts. Oh, look at this. Motion to amend. Failed. Question called. Passed. Point of order. Chair ruled Indian lands according to bylaws, and bylaws with a hyphen, because that's the way it used to be spelled, must be considered after other business. Okay. Not good at reading handwriting anymore. So very interesting. One day maybe we'll... I should do this for one of the shows. Even though we're past 74, I think we're going to read these minutes for a special episode. I think that would be fun. But I want to show you... And there's copies of the tape. I want to show you... Let's look up National Press Release, because I'm pretty sure I have copies of this Taxation is Theft press release. No, I didn't put it up here. Why didn't I put it up here? That's cray-cray. I have a copy of it. I have it on my phone. Well, we're going to have to do a show on that too, because that just super, super gets me going. Do I have a copy of it in my Google Drive? Probably not. But anyway, let me come back here. So, and put the widget back up. Yeah, so we got some ideas for some special episodes, but those handwritten minutes are a hoot. But yeah, so it wasn't the first press release, because if you saw on that list, the first press release was announcing the formation. But was within the first few years of the party that it said, I think the title of the press release is, Libertarians Say Taxation is Theft. So... it's nothing new. I have pictures of protests in the 70s in Colorado. Oh, I know what else I wanted to show you. Let me see if I can find it on LPDF first. Okay, I'm just looking here. Just give me a second to look here. I'm trying to find it. I think we might even have the bumper sticker they were referring to in that issue of LP News. That's what I'm looking for. But no, I don't have all the bumper stickers loaded up, so we don't. But there is a huge-ass Taxation is Theft bumper sticker. I have a scan of it. It's just... not loaded up yet. So nope, don't have that to show you this time. So there's still a bunch of stuff to get uploaded onto Lpedia. Okay, well, I think that is all we're going to cover for today. I've got a super busy weekend coming up. There is an LNC meeting on Sunday. Now, normally on Friday, tonight, I'd be doing an LNC update, but there really hasn't been all that much going on that I didn't cover last time. So I'll cover the LNC stuff probably next Friday or sometime after the meeting on Sunday, where there will be some new things to report. All right, everyone, I am going to get going and get back to doing some work, but I'm glad we were able to start this month's or this year's as well, but January, February 1975. All right, I hope you have an awesome night. You're probably having a better night than Kevin McCarthy is. Good night. Bye-bye.
Gotta take what you're given, that's how we live it. Don't be mad at the system, it's simply how we've existed. I hear a lot of people talking like they politicians and choose to be an accountant because it's safe in the business.